The Bitcoin Bullish have been knocking on the door of a mega massive breakout for quite some time now after consolidating just around all-time highs for the past month. And in today's video, we'll be going over how to actually confirm what a breakout would look like and also the price targets involved with that, perhaps even a bit of timing on top of that. And then also, most importantly, we'll actually start it off with what would effectively invalidate this, implying that Bitcoin is going to be consolidating much lower and probably much longer. And the next general move is just to the downside. And for that, we have a very, very obvious pivot right here. It's the most recent daily price action pivot on the index, which is the low of last Friday, and that is, let's just call it 107 and in a small amount of change there, meaning that as long as Bitcoin's closing above there, yes, the Bullish still have the ball in their court, still upside the more likely thing to be happening. But the second that Bitcoin closes a daily below there, I would be looking for this thing to come down at least a little bit below 105, probably a small bounce attempt there, and then probably all the way back down to very, very low 100s, and then we'll come back to it after that. But as always, I forgot to mention that today is actually the last day of our 4th of July sale. Holy shit, I am not doing the best job of this. My apologies there, but you can actually get 20% off of any one of the programs or services like the price action pivots that you just saw in the teachable link in the description below with the code USA in all capitals. And by the way, pretty much all of the indicator packages come with a 7-day free trial as well for any new user. Anyways, let's jump into the actual analysis. Let's start off with a bit of daily statistics. I want to point out that Wednesday is more or less a coin flips probability on whether it closes positively or negatively, but Wednesday is actually a rather important day because Wednesday, for the days that do close positively, has the highest average positive return, just under 3%. On the negative side, in fact, it is one of the lowest for a weekday at losing an average of 1.79%. So if we were to put that in terms of numbers here, that would imply downside of the range would be about 107, 100. The upside of the range, based off of these average returns, would be on slightly new all-time highs here for Bitcoin at about 112 and 100 or so. So what am I trying to say? Look, the stars are aligning here that if Bitcoin is really going to break out, I really do expect this thing to break out and make new all-time highs less than a week, and today would be a damn good start for that. I mean, what day is better than a Wednesday in terms of average positive returns? There is no better day. There's no second best. There's no second best. Well, Monday is second best, actually, and also the most likely day to close positively as well. This past Monday didn't close positively. Holy shit, does that mean the statistics don't work? Yes, that's right, because 59% probability means 100% probability, as we all know. Anyways, for the non-lobotomized of this channel, I love you as always, and you understand, hopefully, the maybe thinly veiled sarcasm there. Anyways, moving on, I want to bring up the real setup. Here's the real setup. All the rest of the analysis is bullshit. This is the only thing that matters, and this is the moons. The moons, we're about to see a traditionally bullish moon fire off. Again, if you're looking at this and you're like, what the fuck, Crown? Have you lost your mind? Look, just look at the statistics, look at the equity curve, look at the results. That's all we care about on this channel. When we've seen that traditionally bullish moon fire off, and if you were to just open up a straight up long during that time and then close it when the next pivot happens, that would have a 55% success rate to just close a positive trade with a 1.5%, or sorry, not 1.5%, but 1.5 profit factor, which gives you an equity curve something like this, which is positive over time. That's what we like, up and to the right, of course. Again, not every trade is going to be a winner here. In fact, you saw this one not working as it should. I always love when I see comments like this, like, ha, moon's fair. It's like, you fucking idiot. Holy shit. Like, holy shit. It would be like the same thing if you were talking about, well, men are on average taller than women, and then some fucking highly enlightened savant says, that's not true. My aunt is taller than her husband, so it's not true. Haha, it's an idiot. It's like, oh my God. Anyways, enough lamenting, and on to the actual chart here. The last couple ones have not worked out in the traditional sense that you'd be expecting it to work out. This last bearish moon, did produce, more or less just an uneventful period sideways. Going to be a small loss if you played it in the way that it's, generally stated. The last bullish moon over here, did actually produce some downside price action, eventually closing pretty much a little bit in profit. And the bad moon, the bear moon right here, also actually, this one actually did work out quite well. And this bull moon over here worked out quite well as well. So, it is, it's not a guarantee, but again, if you're looking at this and you are looking at these statistics associated with it, then I do want to point out that if you are, if you are having a bullish bias during these next couple of weeks, then the average winning trade based off of this setup, very, very simplistic setup, is just over 13.5%. On the losing side, it's about 7%. So we can come up again with areas of interest for effectively like the next 2 weeks of price action. If it does happen to the upside, likely somewhere around 120 to 125,000. And to the downside, if Bitcoin were to shave off like 7%, that's kind of where I think Bitcoin goes if it does fail here in the next couple of weeks. And that'd be down to like 101, 102-ish region, bounces along the way, probably around 105 if I had to guess as well. So yeah, you can see what these sort of areas of interest are regardless of, of what price action does. And that's really what we care about, especially on a channel like this. Anyways, moving on from there, I do want to bring back the HPDR for the biweekly and tri-weekly time frame. The reason why is because I think it provides further evidence that, hey, if you are bullish here, you more or less should expect that Bitcoin does not go lower than what we've already seen this week. For the biweekly time frame, you can see that Bitcoin did actually close above the 38.2 level for the first time since November rally of last year. And in this case, it has not just closed above, but it's actually used that 38.2 level for the low of this week thus far, if you can see it right there. So if you do start to see Bitcoin, much below there, especially on a closing basis, even on a daily time frame, then yeah, I think it's safe to say Bitcoin's breaking down. But as it is with the bi-weekly time frame, the 3-week time frame also very interesting here because it has reclaimed, or it is about to reclaim, I should say. It has not done it just yet or on a confirmation, but it's about to reclaim the median for the first time since, again, the October rally of last year began. And in this case, if Bitcoin does close just anywhere above 105 by the end of this week, which is Friday, then that will be reclaimed. And anytime that we've seen Bitcoin reclaim the median on the 3-week time frame, that has gotten a free ride at least up to the 38.2 level. And I mean, in pretty much every case, actually even goes higher than that. I'll run you through some examples right here and then show you what that would mean for current price action. But we have this most recent example again from October. It finds its high all the way at the top side of which level would this be? The 50% level to the upside. This one over here reclaims the median right here. Boom, this one goes, this one just rides it up significantly more. So that one goes, really fucking hard, I guess. This one over here, same thing, reclaims the median. Boom, big rally up. This one getting all the way up, even north of the 50% of historic returns level. This one over here, same thing. Boom, all the way up. This one over here, boom, all the way up. We can go back further, but again, this sort of thing really does need more price action history. So I don't know how much I trust those earlier ones. Anyways, regardless of that, if we were to put that into context, as of right now, the top side of the 38.2 level, which is going to shift around on the next open, maybe it comes a little bit lower, maybe it goes a little bit higher. I don't know. But as of right now, it's about 139 or 138. The 50% of historic returns retracement level to the upside is just below 160, and the 618, which, that's pretty far out there, but fair enough. 166, 167-ish regions. So you'd start to see these higher targets evolve, but again, is dependent upon Bitcoin's ability to close above this very specific number by the end of this, of Friday's closure for CME. On top of that, I do want to bring up this chart right here as well. This is the 5-day 5 EMA strat. And again, we do see that this one fired off an entry back down around about 106,000 US dollars. So this one is open as of right now. It's been in profit for, about 10, 15 days. We're working on 1, 2, and we're working on the second closure today. So this is super interesting to me because as long as Bitcoin is above that red 5 EMA, which guess where it is, 107 or so, again, upwards bias is still, in my opinion, the right thing to be having. But if Bitcoin starts to close below there, then, well, your upside bias goes away for sure. But I want to point out here the statistics associated with this one. I'm just measuring for the past 10 years, by the way, on this equity curve. You can see that this strategy is really just designed to catch the big moves. And when Bitcoin is not big moving, just kind of trade sideways. That's the idea there. Just don't, lose your equity during those periods. Anyways, for the winning trades on this particular setup, the average return is 37.5%. The average return for the losing trades is about 5.5%. And the average amount of time in average amount of bars in winning trades is 10 versus 2 in losing trades. So this one has already gone 1, 2. This will be bar number 3 closing tonight. So, the more and more that we get away from that 2 number, the more and more it is going to be a winner. And if Bitcoin does play out to the upside, what would that look like from the entry? Again, 35.5% is the average. Doesn't mean it's going to get exactly there. It might be a little bit more, it might be a little bit less. But again, for context, that would be all the way up to, 140 to 145,000 bucks. And if we were to put a time frame on that too, well, we already have the open. So what's 10 bars from there? Well, 50 days from there is middle of August. So, if Bitcoin is going to continue here, we actually do expect a rather explosive move to the upside sooner rather than later. And Bitcoin, hitting some pretty crazy targets, before September even ends. Now, I want to really state the importance of Bitcoin starting the move. I honestly really want to say today. It doesn't have to get up to these crazy numbers, but getting back above 110 today would be a great start. And that is due to our higher term time frame stochastic momentum oscillators, because you can see that they're all in what is actually a strong position, but it implies that things need to continue from here, now. Daily time frame, you can see, is actually technically down right now, but that one will flip back up above 109,700. 2-day time frame, which also has the 2-day time frame volatility versus stochastic momentum setup, which has seen extremely low volatility for the longest time in the past 5 years, I believe. This one still showing upside pressure as long as Bitcoin's above 108. But again, 108, you must remain above there. That one's closing tonight as well. Just to keep the hopium alive. 3-day time frame, which just closed last night. This one continues the upside as well. 105,650 is a new pivot. This one also even closing above the most recent price action pivot to the upside as well. So, good things going on there. But we really do expect Bitcoin to remain above that pivot if things are going to continue here. 5-day time frame, you can see this one's also closing tonight. It is on the precipice of continuing down here if Bitcoin is closing today below 109,550. But again, not super concerning until it's actually really below the critical zone. That's where it becomes a very high probability play for a big pullback. But again, the 5-day time frame and the 2-day time frame both showing extreme lows on BBWP. So you're almost undoubtedly looking at a 30% more or 30% or greater percent move for Bitcoin coming off of this pivot. The question is, does it come to the upside or the downside? Well, as long as Bitcoin's above the momentum pivots, significantly more likely to be to the upside. When Bitcoin starts to close below these momentum pivots, those probabilities will start to favor the downside. So I really want to highlight the importance here, because while I'm generally going to be biased in the same direction as a trend, I'm not going to, it can switch around extremely fast. So yeah, I just want to make sure that for anyone who's listening, you understand the importance of these numbers very specifically. Anyways, I think that's a good place for me to be leaving off on today's video. Again, just kind of wrapping up my thoughts here. If you're bullish, you're really looking for Bitcoin to make new highs. I think less than a week. I think honestly before this week is over, but I could see it maybe going into next Wednesday perhaps. But that's latest. If you don't see Bitcoin, hang around here, especially if Bitcoin comes back down and closes a daily below 107, at that point it's nearly a done deal in my opinion that Bitcoin's going to be spending the next month or 2 months trading sideways and down within this overall range. Probably coming down to at least very low 100s. Maybe it even breaks below 100 for a little bit. Wouldn't necessarily say that I'm full on macro bearish based off of that. It's still fine as far as trends go, but yeah, you can imagine that it's going to do some damage to the current short and medium term trends. Thus, you kind of have to be expecting a much deeper pullback and consolidation lower before perhaps another try higher. Anyways, I think that is a good place maybe leaving off on this particular video. Again, last day of our sale here. I apologize for doing an absolutely terrible job of getting the word out, but the code is USA in all capitals. All of the tools that we used in this stream here are available there. Even this one right here, which you can actually set up for the Quant Prime service. In fact, it's actually in the Quant library, as is my the latest strategy that I published in the Quant library, which goes over my sort of long-term, it's not even long, it's just buy and hold strategy effectively. But it tells you when is the best time to essentially buy if you want to beat buy and hold actually, and also weekly DCA, which is actually surprisingly hard to do, especially, well, I guess not that surprising. Bitcoin, is generally up, but we found something that actually does outperform those, which is ideal. So yeah, anyways, that's what we'll leave it for today. As always, wishing everyone the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully Thursday.